Hello. Hello, what is up? Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to see you. How you doing? Hopefully fabulous. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hello, I'm Sam. Welcome to today's video. Today I have a little update video for you guys. I have a whole slew of plants that I'm really excited to share with y'all. Some of them that maybe weren't doing well before, cuttings and propagation, just like lots of stuff. And I don't really know how much we're gonna get through in this video because I don't want it to be super duper long, but if I don't make it to all the plants I wanted to show y'all, then I'll just save those for my next update video because I do think I'm going to be bringing these update videos back. I used to do update videos quite often and just kind of keep tabs on a lot of the same plants, new plants, just whatever, but I would do updates with you guys probably anywhere from every 4 to 6 weeks, and everyone seemed to really like those. So I think I'm going to bring those back because I enjoy them too. I enjoy showing y'all little updates on these plants and how they're doing, and if they aren't doing so well, if maybe they kind of took a left turn and jumped on the struggle bus, or if they took the right turn and are doing fabulous. If it sounds like something you'd be interested in, then stick around and hang tight. Go ahead and grab a snack, coffee, tea, water. I'm having a really yummy cherry limeade sparkling water today. I love me some sparkling water. Get comfortable, let's hang out and check out some plants. Right off the bat, I just have to show you guys my little Albo monstera because I'm really excited about him, and I haven't shown him, I don't think, in quite a long time. I unboxed this guy about a year and a half ago, probably maybe going on 2 years now. I feel like it's been about a year and a half. We'll just stay there. We'll just say that. It was a little 2-leaf cutting, unrooted, and I did a trade actually to get this. So I swapped a cutting or 2 cuttings of my Splendid for this little Albo. He did not have any fenestrations whatsoever. Really juvenile but beautiful. I rooted in sphagnum moss and it's been doing really well ever since. It's a little bit on the slower growing side, but honestly, like, I'm happy with the growth that it does give me. I'm trying to think, did I take a cutting? I did. I actually cut this, you guys. So it rooted up. I potted it up a long time ago and it's been growing and doing really well. It gave me its first fenestrated leaf, which I think was not this one, but look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. The first one was this one. You can see it has one little slit here. This one, okay. And at this point, I went ahead and cut the plant and sold the base of it with the roots. I did that this past fall, I think. Summer or fall, late summer or early fall. So she was actually quite a lot bigger, but I sold the base of the plant, which had more juvenile leaves like this. They didn't have any fenestrations. There was probably like 3 or 4 attached to the roots that I sold. And then I re-rooted this top portion here, and it is now back in soil. It took a little while to start growing again after, of course, that's to be expected. But then when it did, it put off this beautiful leaf here, which you can see doesn't have any fenestrations in it, but that's also kind of to be expected after a chop. And now I just noticed that she is putting out another little leaf right here, you guys. Wow. I'm very excited to see what this new leaf is going to look like. It's so fun whenever you have variegated plants, like of any kind, because whenever you see that new leaf coming in, you just can't help but wonder what that new leaf is going to look like. Each leaf looks so different. It's like artwork. So I'll give y'all an update. Be sure you're following me on Instagram because I'll definitely be posting this new leaf whenever it comes out there. I post a lot of updates there actually if you want to be a little bit more involved in plants growth and stuff like that. So doing fabulous, had to share, love, love, love my little Albo. This is a little baby Splendid off of my mother plant. I tried to insert a clip of the mama plant because she just recently filled out and produced growth points all the way down her big long stem. She just popped them out everywhere and they've all unfurled, and yeah, she's filling out beautifully, but she's gotten really leggy, so I took a few cuttings. I do have more over there in water that I need to get potted up. This is one of the cuttings that I took off of her a good while ago and rooted. I think this one, I rooted this one in moss maybe. Can't remember, but you can see it had this leaf here, and it wasn't a top cutting, it was a mid cutting, so it did not have a growth point already. So it had to push out a new growth point, and it did right after I potted it up in soil and put this little cocoa core pole in here. It pushed off a little growth point over here out of the soil. I don't know how well y'all can see, but it did, and this is the new leaf. Look how gorgeous that is. I mean, it's obvious why this is like one of my all-time favorite plants, right? It always will be, because they just root so quick, they grow so fast, they're just such amazing, easygoing plants. It's incredible. So yeah, this is one of the cuttings off of Mama Splendid. We are pushing up another new leaf right here, so yeah, it looks like this plant is going to take off now and become its own little plant, going to become a Mama Splendid as well. You guys, I have to show you. Okay, this is the Anthurium radicans. Got this from Aroid Market. They were kind enough to send this to me this past fall in a package. They sent me a lot of amazing plants. I think I lost the roots on it, and that's why. Oh my gosh, look! Okay, yeah, I think we lost, I don't remember if we lost all the roots or just some of them, but I definitely had to reroot it. And this is actually my first time pulling it out of the cash po to check on the dang roots, and look at this, you guys. This is why I love these orchid pots, because they have ventilation all the way around them, and these ones are actually really nice. I got these at Lowe's, believe it or not, for like $2 a piece. I grabbed a couple of them, and these are like heavy duty orchid pots because they're just so thick and sturdy and durable, and they have just like holes all over for aeration, which is great for encouraging root growth. Look at that. Wow. Oh my gosh. So anyways, yeah, we suffered from some root rot, and then I've been battling spider mites non-freaking stop, you guys. This plant did attempt to put off a new leaf once before this, and between the root rot and the spider mites, that new leaf, before it even got to this size, like it didn't even get to unfurl, it just turned black and mushed, and I had to remove it, which was very heartbreaking for me. So I've had this for, you know, several months now, and I haven't gotten any new foliage on it yet. And I lost a lot of leaves. If you watch that unboxing, or if you go back and watch it, this plant had a lot of leaves on it. It was absolutely gorgeous and a big size. Check it out, you guys. He's finally happy and rooted and give me this gorgeous new leaf. Anthurium new leaves in general are incredible, but the radicans, it's just like, ooh, 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 ooh. So stay tuned for updates on this as well, because we're going to do more probably next month or so. But I had to show you because I'm just so incredibly proud of this guy. All right, y'all, this here is a Philodendron Glorious. You may or may not know that I have had my Philodendron Glorious. I actually purchased it for pretty cheap. It was an import, like one of my first imports that I ever did 3 years ago, I think. And I purchased it as a Gloriosum, and then later discovered it was a Glorious. Now, it did well for me the first year. Well, almost, not quite the first year. It did well for me for a long time, and it had really big, beautiful leaves, grew really well. And then my first winter with that plant, I got a really bad outbreak of spider mites, of course, and it like completely wiped out all the foliage. It was really bad. And then that plant has never been the same since then, like never. I have really struggled with it, and I still have the mother plant in there. It would put off a new leaf every like 4 months, and the new leaf would never fully unfurl. It was just like totally gimped up. It looked awful. It wasn't a healthy plant. So it finally put off a new growth point, and I decided to, and mind you, I've taken cuttings, like new growth point cuttings from the mother plant multiple times, and they grow just fine, and then I did it to sell. So this time I was like, no, I'm going to take a cutting of this new growth point for myself to see if it's just like the mother plant that has issues, or if it's me, like what is going on. I just want to see if I can get a healthy babe off this plant. So this was the cutting that I took, and lo and behold, it rooted. I potted it up in soil, and as soon as I potted it up, it put off this new leaf. It came in perfect. It came in perfectly fine. Not a single flaw or injury. It didn't have any issues unfurling, and the mother plant's in there losing the one leaf that it did have. It's gone. So I have absolutely no idea what that plant's deal is, but I'm pleased to say that the little cutting pushed out and unfurled the new leaf. Perfect. It's just so weird to me. We do have another growth point right here. So it is a slow grower. I can say that. Compared to other hybrids, philodendron hybrids, it does appear to be a pretty slow grower, but hopefully I can grow this into a healthy plant and finally, all these years later, have a healthy, happy, beautiful, glorious. Next on our list, we have a plant that I actually featured in a video a month or two ago that was titled Plants That I Don't Love as Much as I Thought I Would, right? And so this is a Spathophylum, but I know it anyway as the Philodendron Goldie. And it's still being sold as a Goldie, so, but it was reclassified as a Spathophylum. I still tend to call it a Goldie though. Anyways, so I just talked about how this plant did not grow well for me. Like, it just wasn't growing. It wasn't putting off new leaves. And when it was putting off new leaves, they were staying tiny. So you can see the largest leaves here, which don't judge them. They are a little messed up, but the new leaves were not getting big. Like, they weren't even getting as big as the oldest leaves on the plant. So it just kind of stopped growing for a period of time. And y'all recommended, you're like, maybe try uppotting the plant. And I was trying to wait until spring to uppot it, but I went ahead and did it. I put it in a bigger planter. What do you know? Lo and behold, it pushed out a new growth point. This is the new leaf right here. It is still pretty fresh. So right now it's the size of the last newest leaf, and you can see it did not get any larger. I'm holding out faith that this new leaf will get bigger now that I've uppotted it and I'm just kind of tending to it. But you guys, after I made that video, I actually did a purge and was selling off a few plants that I just really didn't, I wasn't vibing with as much and just wasn't loving, and I just wanted to sell them and maybe give them a new home where they would be loved and appreciated and cared for better. So I posted this and I actually sold it, and the girl bought this and one other plant, and I sold it for literally $25. Well, I wasn't shipping until the next week, so whenever I pulled the plant to package it to send her, I noticed that it had a pretty hot case of spider mites, and I was like, oh no, like, it was bad. It wasn't just like one or two I could wash off and spray some alcohol on and throw it in the box. It was a bad infestation. So I decided to keep the plant. I reached out to her and I told her, hey, I'm sending you this other plant that you ordered, but I found pests on the Goldie, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that and refund you for it. I'm sorry. And lo and behold, it pushes out a new leaf. So I was actually really happy and relieved that I found the spider mites on this plant, because I actually really didn't want to get rid of it, okay? I really didn't, especially after I seen that new growth point coming in. So it's almost like, for once, spider mites kind of did me a favor, in a sense. So yeah, I kept it because of the mites, and I'm so glad that I did. Just trying to keep an eye on it and give it a lot of attention and stuff, and make sure that it's getting the right amount of light and stuff, because it doesn't live in my grow tent anymore. I really want to mature these leaves. So that's the goal for this plant right now, but I just wanted to give you all a little update. I did uppot this plant, so thank you guys for that advice. It worked. Next plant I wanted to update y'all on is this beautiful Spathophylum. This is a Spathophylum Picasso. Like the Radicans, this was sent to me from LiQWYD Market in that same order. Absolutely love this plant. Again, spider mites, right? Spider mites and underwatering, because it was in a much smaller planter. It was drying out just way too fast. So I upped it, because it's like I would water it and it would perk up, and then like 2 days later it was wilted again. And because it does have so much of this gorgeous white in the foliage, if it dried out for too long, it would lose a leaf or two each time. And I was like, oh no, we cannot have this. So I upped it to this little plastic pot here, and then I just have it setting down in this cute little pot as a cash po. It has grown a lot, probably most of, if not all of the leaves. Yeah, definitely. Okay, all of the leaves that you see right now are leaves that it's given me since it was shipped to me. So it's put all of these off in my care since I got it, and maybe more, because every time it crisps up a leaf due to spider mites or underwatering, I remove it. It's just like they go so fast. This is incredible. I really have a thing for peace lilies, you guys. I love them, and especially unique or variegated peace lilies. Like, I just think they're so beautiful and they're so rewarding. The only thing is that they are really thirsty. I don't mind. I really don't. It's so worth it to me. Hopefully now that I've upped this plant, I can get it really full and bushy. Just look. When I say that variegated plants are like artwork, it's like art on the foliage, this is a perfect example of that, because just look. Like, are you kidding me? And then it's because it's getting really good light underneath a purple grow light right now. You can see it's really pushing out the white. This is the newest leaf here. Well, no. This is the newest leaf here, and it's still currently unfurling. Look how minty that is. That's just so different when you compare it to the other leaves. Like, that's amazing. And this is the last newest leaf, and it's absolutely perfect. Look at that gorgeous lime green stripe going down through it, and then the little flecks of lime green. This is like a white plant with green variegation. I mean, basically. It's doing really well, and it never ever stops growing. We do have a little crisping right here on this leaf, which it's pretty well all white, so understandable. I am in love with this little peace lily. Hopefully I can give an update on her soon, and she'll be nice and full. Okay, next we're going to talk about this guy behind me. This is my Anthurium pallidiflorum, and it has been right in the war zone when it comes to the spider mites in my grow tent. So it's like surrounded by plants that really seem to attract the mites, and I think that's why this happened here. So this is the new leaf that it was putting off, and this is the first leaf that it gave me in my care. You can see, I mean, that is insane. That's so impressive. Like, oh my gosh. And then we do still have this old leaf, and we lost I think we lost 2 leaves. When this came in, this was the longest leaf on the plant, and it's amazing. So anyways, yeah, this is the second leaf that it pushed off in my care, and it was right in the midst of the spider mite attack. So you can see this is basically what it is. I mean, it's already hardened off. Well, maybe not fully, but it's definitely as big as it's gonna get, and I'm pretty positive of that because there's actually another new leaf coming out right here. So I know it doesn't want to focus, but I promise it's there. So it's working on another one, so I guess it's gonna be okay. It is quite the bummer after seeing this new leaf come in and then seeing this. It's like, yeah, it is kind of a bummer that happened, but it is what it is. When it comes to anthuriums, you have to have everything right. I mean, it's not a finicky plant by any means. It's just a matter of, like, when there's new leaves coming in on anthuriums, you can't underwater them, and you can't allow a pest outbreak to go untreated, or else it's going to severely jack up the new leaves. I'm just thankful that it didn't stop him, and he is pushing out another one, so we will see what happens and what this new leaf comes to be. I'm really curious to see what that's going to look like. Hopefully he can get straightened out after this. I just can't bear to see any more of my plants struggling and dealing with this nonstop. Like, I really can't. Here we have my little Hoya Bella. This plant, it went through some struggles, and I ended up it just started dying, so I ended up having to take some cuttings from her. I actually rooted those in water. They rooted up very quickly. The cuttings actually lived in that little vessel of water for months, like a really long time, longer than they should have, but they were happy and they were growing, shooting off new growth points. So anyways, I finally potted her up last month. She is just so happy. I love it. I love to see it. The Hoya Bella is already just like such a fast growing Hoya, and it's a really easy chill Hoya too. I did lose a lot of the plant whenever it was sick, so these are all just the few cuttings that I had taken, but you can just see all of these stems that have branched off everywhere, like literally everywhere. Here's a new one here with some cute little baby Bella leaves, adorable. And here, look at those little new babes right there. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I planted her up in this little blush pink planter, and I just think it is the cutest combo. Bella is doing well. She's coming back. Hopefully we don't have any more hiccups. Okay, so this one, I don't know. I'm trying to remember if I've ever showed you guys this plant, and I'm not sure I did because it wasn't doing great for the longest time. So I got this early last year, I guess. And this is a little variegated jade. I actually have wanted a variegated jade plant for a long time, but it's just not something that I ever see pop up in my local garden centers. I was really excited to stumble across this. I think I got it at a Walmart maybe. Got it, and like I said, it's probably been close to a year that I've had her now. You know how the little like $3.98 pots plants from Walmart are in the tiny little plastic nursery pots, and the soil is always super compact and dusty, and it's not great. Well, that's what she was living in literally until it may have been 2 months ago now. It was just a matter of me not taking the time to put her in some fresh soil in a different pot. That's really all it was. Like, the soil was so compact that when I watered the plant, it wasn't getting any of it. It wasn't soaking any of it up. It wasn't really growing for the longest time. It stuck around and, it was fine, which I think is probably why I let it go so long, but it just wasn't really growing, and it also was really shriveled. Like, all of the little succulent leaves were really shriveled up and wrinkled because it was just so dehydrated. So I finally put her in some fresh soil, like I said, a month or 2 ago. Immediately, this plant started growing. The leaves replenished and plumped up, and yeah, you can see all of these new little baby jade leaves coming in all over. Do notice that the new leaves don't really have any variegation on them, so I guess I need to give her more light. I just wanted to show you her because I really don't think that I have, and I do love her. I think it's the cutest little plant. This is a little Hoya Irina. This is one that, again, it didn't do anything for so long. It is living in moss. Look at those new leaves, you guys. Now, one of them it produced a good while ago, and the other one is new. This one here is the new leaf, but this is one that just was really stagnant forever. It would try to put out new leaves. You know how Hoya sometimes, if they're not happy, they'll push out new leaves and then they'll just drop them. Like, immediately they just drop them, and you're like, you go back to check on them and you're like, where did they go? And they're just gone. That's what this plant was doing. So needless to say, it is finally growing. Yay. So here comes spring. Once spring is actually here, I have a ton of repotting to do. So I'm going to get this in some soil, but I just wanted to show you guys, isn't the splashing on those new leaves just beautiful? Like, that is so gorgeous. All right, guys, I think that's all we have time for today. Love to show you guys even more updates because I definitely do have a lot more stuff going on. But like I said, we've got all the time in the world, and that just motivates me to keep all of these plants healthy and happy in the meantime so that I can share them with you in a future update video next month or something. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching this video. I seriously appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Drop a comment and let's chat down below. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell if you wanna. And I will see you guys again really soon in my next video. I love you guys. Bye.